It's Sunday, and you know what that means. It's time for the All Effin' Wrestling Show. James from Boston, what do we have on the show today?
We got a pretty awesome show. We got news. We got our Rich Southwood joke of the week. And then we're going to give flowers to those that the WWE didn't want to give flowers to. And that is, of course, the wrestlers who passed that WWE decided, we don't want to talk about that.
And, of course, we also have our enlightened one, Strange Fact of the Day.
Of course. Got to have the Strange Fact of the Day. Absolutely. So, are you ready to hit it? Let's do it.
Coming to you live from the FN Worldwide Media Studios, located in parts unknown.
It's the All Effin' Wrestling Show.
With your hosts, Canada Dry and the JFB. Tell me how it's priced. Tell me if the item is for sale. And tell me.
Good morning, afternoon. If I don't see you till later, how you doing? Keep my supper warm and good evening. I am, of course, the JFB, James from Boston.
And I am the patron saint of all of professional wrestling. I am that gingered up, bubbly son of a bitch. I go down smooth. I'm Canada Dry. Damn it.
Damn it is right indeed. So we are we're plowing through this year, man. Like it seems like it was last week was like March. Now it's like almost August.
It feels weird in here today. Like where's everyone?
Yeah, no kidding. Like,
it's been ages since we did a show just with me and you.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, but we're gonna enjoy it. We got room to stretch out. We got room to do activities. So I say we start going. Of course, Joseph Graham is in the house. He says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Mr. Graham?
What is up?" A superstar. He's not a superstar. He's the GM Joe.
GM Joe, the greatest American hero.
He's so used to me asking him to be on the shows. He's like, am I on the show tomorrow? I'm like, I don't remember asking you. And like,
he's been doing
it's an awkward moment. He's like, well, maybe I dreamed it.
He is literally like, he's on like 85% or 90% of the shows last week. So,
yeah,
big shout out to Joseph Graham and
thank you so much for everything you do for our for Effin' Wrestling.
Heck yeah, GM Joe, the greatest podcast hero. So, let's get started with our rigmarole. Of course, let's start with the news.
From the four corners of the globe, from our studios to your home, this is FNN, the FN News Network, starring Canada Dry and the JFB.
Oh, dear God, there he is. The enlightened one is here.
You knew I was coming.
Yeah, he still scares me. You still scare me every time you show up.
Buddy, I'm sorry.
So what is our strange fact of the day? Chug that coffee and let's hear it.
is let me just have a sip. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Canada Dry knows how to make a good cup of joe. All right. So here's the strange fact of the day. Did you know that if you shaved a tiger bald, he would still have stripes?
Really?
The stripes are on their skin and their fur.
Oh, I did not know that, and I don't
I didn't
know
know it either.
what person decided to shave a tiger.
We were like, let's try to see how this works out for us. They only got to do it once.
Yeah. Once was enough. I would not attempt to be like, "Hey, kids, come here and watch me shave a tiger." These strange facts of the day are brought to you by W.GG. If you're looking for that insurmountable amount of energy, the only way to get it is W.GG, which means you go to our website, you use the promo FN Wrestling, get 10% off. It's all natural, no sugars, no jitters, nothing like that. So, Canada Dry, you're back.
It's me. I'm back.
Did you hear the Enlightened One's strange and unusual fact?
I did. Actually, I noticed that something about cats in general.
Yeah.
If you get like a calico, you'll see their skin is white, where the fur is white. Yeah, so it makes sense.
That's interesting. I'm putting that in. Yeah, I'm going to use that to impress women. And
you see this hottie at the supermarket? You walk up to her. Hey, did you know that if you shaved a tiger, he'd still have stripes?
Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing?
She's
like, oh my goodness, it leaps in your arms.
We just got married in Vegas, damn it.
All because of that tiger strange fact of the day. Amen.
All right, let's get to our news. Apparently, we have a face turn that happened last night on Collision. Hobbs was on Collision, and QT Marshall got involved with his match and cost him the win. And he shoved him, and he was about to pummel QT until Harley kind of slid in between, and he left dejected and very angry. So,
you know what I would have liked to see instead of him just walking away with his little face turn?
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen Harley just like grabbing his pecs and like just trying to like smooth things over, like using her womanly wiles.
Yeah.
And then he just like falls to her charm and then comes back in line until he boils over again, you know?
Yeah. I like that. That's good booking right there. Tony Khan, if you're listening, that's good booking right there. So wrestlers for many years have been told that they were not allowed to mention Sable's name. The reason why we brought this up is because on SmackDown on Friday, Edge talked about being in a match with Sable as her mystery opponent. That's how he got his first big start in his first PLE. And Tori Wilson confirmed it further, saying that while she thanked Sable in her Hall of Fame speech, she was told by executives, by the way, you can't really use her name anymore. So, Canada Dry, what's up with that?
Well, there was that lawsuit way back when, but she came back after that. Yeah. So that's weird.
And she's one of the few big stars from the Attitude Era that is not in the Hall of Fame.
And also, she's still married to Brock Lesnar, isn't she?
She is still married to Brock Lesnar.
So really, what is up with that?
Yeah. That doesn't make
that
any
is
sense.
very, very strange, and if so, it could be very, very petty.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look who's in charge of WWE. If you look up the word petty, in fact, you'll see Vince McMahon's face right next to the word petty. So
I wonder if it's just because she was over-sexualized back then.
Probably, yeah. I would imagine that's probably what it was. Guess who's coming back to in-ring performance? R-Truth. That's right.
Yes.
He confirmed on a podcast that he is he is inching closer and closer to making a return within the next month or so. So I'm excited. I love R-Truth. I mean, he'll never leave WWE. He's so over. You know, he's happy. I mean, he's making big bucks and he's killing it every night.
Ron Killings is killing it as R-Truth.
Yes, Ron Killings is killing it as R-Truth. Hell yeah. So Andrade is drawing Dax Harwood on the criticism of ratings of Collision, and basically said the exact same thing, which was all the guys and the girls in the back, either the wrestlers or the people that put on the show, the ring crew, are busting their butts, and it shouldn't matter what the ratings are. And I sat there and was like, you're right, because Joe Blow or Susie Sweetheart aren't advertising on TNT or TBS. So those ratings mean absolutely nothing, but they'll get online and be like, well, I told you AEW is going to fail because they only got 400,000 people watching Collision last week. Ugh. People.
Like that's still a lot of people watching these products being advertised.
Yeah. Yeah, they're advertising. I mean, that's the thing. Advertisers are going to advertise, period. And that's the only time ratings ever have any meaning is to an advertiser. Doesn't mean anything to Joe Blow who punches in the clock day in and day out. It has nothing to do with them, but they'll use that in the wrestling community, man. Toxic.
Yeah, people who have no idea about advertising are talking about ratings.
Yeah.
Like no clue about advertising.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing to remember is you're not looking at the 3 and the 7 days, which is DVR and Hulu and all that stuff. Like that plays an important part in the ratings as well. So Joseph Graham actually brought it up. I don't know if you have it on the list, but what do you think about the story that alleges that CM Punk pitched himself to be in Blood and Guts in the side of BCC? I mean, woo, that'd be a nice little slap in the face of the Bucks.
I don't know if he could have just been joking around.
Yeah.
Like I could see CM Punk laughing about it. But I'll go on BCC side.
Yeah.
And then someone like, ooh, heard that story.
Tension, my friends. Tension. Joseph Graham also said truth is underrated. Absolutely 100%. So Senior McMahon was in fact at Madison Square Garden backstage for the showdown for SmackDown. So he was tinkering because that's what Vince does. He likes to tinker. Thunder Rosa plays Doc Samson's voicemail on Busted Open and says that she basically Doc Samson said she's making progress and her return is imminent. I mean, it's going to be coming probably within the next few months. So, Canada Dry, your favorite female wrestler of all time.
We were talking on Wrestling with the Paranormal about a heel run for her.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else really makes sense.
I would love to see a heel Thunder Rosa because I don't think she's ever been a heel. I think she's always been kind of a face.
And like she could be like, I was injured and you all turned your backs on me and play into like you all, would you just play up that whiny little victim sort of thing?
Oh yeah. I think it'd be perfect. I would love to see a heel Thunder Rosa. Speaking of people who want to come back to WWE, he's got like 15 kids. Heath Slater says he wants to return to WWE. Is
he even anyone special on Impact?
No. Like he was a tag team champion and he's won a couple belts since he left WWE, but like nothing that stands out.
You gotta make your way to the main event of Impact.
Yeah.
If you want to make waves going back to WWE, like I think Matt Cardona was much smarter.
Yeah.
About how he did things.
Yeah.
Like it's not as reliable.
Yeah.
But if Heath Slater would have showed up at GCW, I'm sure they could have made something. story.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, cut them open with a pizza slicer or something.
Yeah, you can even be like, I got kids, don't do that.
Don't cut me. I got like 27 kids. Matt Hardy says that bleeding and blood is best when it's used correctly, not every week. And of course, you can't talk about consistently bleeding without the dean of blood, John Moxley.
Is that why he was Dean Ambrose? Because he's the Dean of Blood?
He's the dean of blood. I kind of agree with Matt Hardy when he talks about this, because in all honesty, every week there's just somebody gets cut open. Now, if it happens by accident, it happens by accident, but John Moxley's gigging. I mean, that guy is he just bleeds every time he steps in the ring.
I do like what John Moxley said. He said, you can't have a good match without bleeding. And then he said, well, that means I'm going to bleed even more. just to stick it to you.
It takes away from it. Like I remember so vividly watching a Mid-South match, and I can't remember who it was. It could have been with Junkyard Dog, and the guy got cut, and that's the first time I ever saw blood in a wrestling match, and it stuck, it ingrained in me. And so you knew it was a big thing if somebody bleeds. But John Moxley, I mean, that guy wakes up, he goes to the bathroom, takes a leak, and starts bleeding.
What I really think, I like your point, it's a desensitization.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because like you're desensitized to the blood. You're like, okay, blood again.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's only once in a while, it becomes more special, and you're like, oh, this is yeah. Like prior to Brett and Stone Cold bleeding in that match, I don't remember last time I seen it before that.
No, neither do I. Yeah, I mean, territories would be the only thing I would pull out. Would be the last time I ever saw anybody, especially like Mid-Atlantic and Mid-South.
I don't know if this is true, but I saw it on Facebook Reel.
Yeah,
they said that the first WWE table crash, was Bret Hart getting thrown through the table against Diesel.
Oh,
and I was like, well, I don't really remember one before that.
I don't either. So that I mean, legitimately, that may be the
first. Now it
almost
happens like on a weekly occurrence.
Yeah,
there's the little things that these things need to happen special.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're kind of taking away the special.
They are. Yeah.
When you're doing a table bump every week.
Yeah, it's not special anymore.
I think the Attitude Era ruined it.
Yeah, well, everybody was putting everybody through a table and beating in the Attitude Era. Newman Company says John Moxley will lose blood until old age. I mean, that guy's head's going to look like Dusty Rhodes's or Abdullah the Butcher's head after another couple of years.
I just thought of a good idea. If he goes back to WWE, probably won't, but if he does, he becomes the Dean of Blood.
Dean of Blood. I'm telling you.
That's his new name, Dean of Blood.
Senior McMahon. Book it.
Yeah.
Big E says he feels great. He feels 100%, but there is no firm date on his return. He says, according, he was on a podcast, Corey Graves' podcast. It says he feels 100%, and he doesn't know when. He doesn't feel like he broke his neck ever. Like he never broke his neck. That's how good he feels. So
maybe SummerSlam.
I wouldn't mind seeing him at SummerSlam. I think they want to wait until Kofi is better too.
Yeah, they'll probably bring them all three back together and have a reunion.
Yeah, exactly. Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn, Austin Theory are among the stars that are not on the eternal match list for SummerSlam. I'm sure at some point they will add those guys to matches, but it seems kind of weird that you have a newly crowned world heavyweight champion in Seth Rollins, and then you're not going to put him on SummerSlam.
Yeah, he's on the show, but
Yeah.
they're like, well, who do we hand feed him?
Yep.
Who do we spoon feed him?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think in all honesty, we're going to get a cash in on SummerSlam with Damian Priest and make it a 3-way with him, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins. I'd love to see that. Triple H, if you're listening, book it.
Or it would be kind of good if whoever went against Seth Rollins afterwards, after the match is over, then Damian Priest catches in at SummerSlam.
Ooh, that would be good too. That would be really good. So, the state of Florida, as I call it, America's Wang, or the state that nobody cares and wants in the United States. WWE flips off the state of Florida. For those who don't know, state of Florida passed a horrible gun law, similar to the one in Tennessee, which is you can conceal a weapon and you don't even need a permit.
What is wrong with those people in Florida? Is there something in the water?
It's a lawless state, is what it is. It literally is a lawless state. There are no. I mean, we could get into a whole entire podcast about the state of Florida, but WWE has decided to tell people that concealed weapons are not allowed in the performance center or at any location where there's a WWE event. So WWE is actually being very smart.
So you as a private business can overturn that law? Like you can say, in this building, we are saying you're not allowed to do
You
this.
have the right, is because the property where the performance center is owned by them. It's a private facility, so they
But
have
what
the
about
right.
an arena in Florida?
Technically, it would be up to whoever ran the arena, or whoever owned the arena would have that right to
So
say.
you would have to make that deal with them to enforce
Yeah.
that.
Yep. So Florida,
It's interesting.
what are you going to do? Last and finally, Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana worked as a producer on this previous week's episode of Dynamite. I'm glad that Colt Cabana is staying as a producer. I like that AEW is keeping him involved and keep him in the revolving door of guys that are going to help Tony Khan produce better.
So I've noticed both companies don't really call them agents anymore.
Yeah, they're backstage producers now.
So you're producing this match.
Yeah. So
you work with you work with both performers.
Yeah.
To put on the best match possible.
Yep. Absolutely. And then Joseph Graham says, hey, Io Sky is officially the second longest to hold the women's Money in the Bank briefcase.
That is crazy. This is true.
Did she cash in and win?
No, she just hasn't cashed in yet. That's why she's the second longest.
Oh, okay. Because I know there was talk about her cashing in. So, okay.
That New York crowd was not impressive on SmackDown.
Oh, the Madison Square crowd? Yeah. No, they weren't. That was the most boring audience I think I've ever seen at a wrestling event.
For a New York crowd, like that is
sad.
Yeah.
It really is. It's sad because when AEW goes to Arthur Ashe, they are going to tear it up, and those fans are going to go freaking bonkers. They're not excited because WWE is not exciting. It's becoming predictable. It's becoming McMahon again. And
I don't think it ever stopped being. There was no point where it was like, this is good now.
Yeah.
It never. The Bloodline story is compelling.
Yeah.
But everything else is just like, And even the Bloodline story to me it's like, how long can we keep this going?
Yeah, it's going to peter out eventually. I think it's on its last legs. We'll see what the onslaught will be.
I was talking to Joe Graham about he predicts a face turn for Roman Reigns.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
I think it would have to be after he loses the belt to Cody. The next Mania.
Absolutely. You're right. So let's get to our joke of the week. we have a resident comedian that's in our midst, Rich Southwood. He's going to do open mic nights in Indiana, but he's going to work on his joke telling here and see what lands and what doesn't land. So here is our joke of the week. If I can find the video. There we go.
Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart. Every day, people are mocked because they feel that dad jokes are the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's messed up. I believe that no one should have to fight for their humor. It's okay to dad joke.
Hello, one and all. This is your Lord Rich Southwood with your official joke of the week. Why is it so great to live in Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is sure a big plus. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
That's a real dad joke.
That is a dad joke. That was brilliant. That was absolutely freaking brilliant. Oh my God. Oh man. Joseph Graham says that's because other than the bloodline, SmackDown was crap. Yeah, when he was talking about the audience, it was not a good show. It really wasn't. I mean, you think of all the great events that have happened at Madison Square Garden for just WWE, and this one was just really freaking sad.
Well, yeah, the thing is, before we get to our main event, the thing is, it's like nothing is really burning their ass.
Yeah.
They can put out shit sandwiches and people will continue to eat these sandwiches. Why would you change?
No reason to. Who's the competition?
Like everyone's still there because it's a WWE event.
Yeah.
They're not absolutely going crazy loving it.
Yeah.
But they're still giving WWE their money.
Yep.
So why would WWE care?
They don't. And they shouldn't, because they don't have competition on Mondays and Fridays. You know? Their only competition is AEW, and they're on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So it doesn't make sense.
Do you think that one day you'll see AEW move to one of these nights?
I think, in all honesty, I would like to see Collision on Friday and Rampage move to Saturday.
And one-on-one with SmackDown.
Yeah, and one-on-one with SmackDown. Yeah. That would be impressive. I mean, I would tune in live to watch AEW, and I would watch SmackDown the next day. That's just me. Let's get to our main event. Our main event, of course, is brought to you by Fight the World. Now, you're wondering, what the hell is Fight the World? Well, it just so happens that a good friend of the show, well, two good friends of the show, good sister Natalia Markova and the good brother Brian Idol, have a school. And you get the chance to start training to become a wrestler today. Now, it's $250 a month, and they're going to teach you everything you need to know about the world of wrestling. They're going to teach you how to move, how to body slam, how to do all kinds of crazy moves like Spanish Fly or the Code Red. They're going to teach you these things. And they also run wrestling shows as well. So if you want to become if you want to sit there and be able to use the word jobber or any other carny word that wrestling uses, go to ftwprowrestling.com and sign up. It's $250 a month. It's in Tampa, Florida. So if you can brave going into the lawless state of Florida, by all means, go ahead and become a professional wrestler.
Florida has a lot of these wrestling schools.
Oh, they got tons of
but I can't vouch for any of them except for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other one I know of that I would ever even suggest would be one by a former WWE wrestler. Him and his kayfabe brother had a wrestling academy there in Florida for a while. Devon and Bully Ray. So,
but I don't know. So go to www.wrestling.com and sign up today.
Yeah, but I can guarantee you, if I'm ever in the Tampa area, I'm going to go to the school and I'm going to hang out and just watch and maybe run the ropes.
Hey, did you see the message from Kill City Cup?
No, what was it?
They're giving us shirts.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, give me your address in the private message.
Okay. All right.
We'll have to wear Kill City Cup shirts.
Oh yeah. God, that thing is so bonkers. I love it. It's like Mad Max. It's like Mad Max roller derby and professional wrestling all smeared into one thing. And then guys in containment suits. So let's get started with the main event, if you will. Let's play our intro.
Gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
All right. Just to let you know, Mr. Isaacs is in the house, the resident expert. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon,
He
Mr.
did
Isaacs.
an amazing job last night. Guy killed it.
Yeah, I have to watch it. I didn't watch it last night. I was shooting.
He's such a great, he's just a great leader and a great spokesman for the channel.
Hell yeah. So let's talk about wrestlers and wrestlers who have died. And on most shows, when a wrestler passes, they'll either mention them and put a graphic up, or they'll do something like when Eddie died and when Benoit died, they gave him a 10 bell salute.
And Owen Hart.
Yeah, Owen. Yeah, they'll give him a 10 bell salute as kind of a way to say thank you and for everything you've done for the wrestling world. So
They even gave Benoit one.
they gave Benoit one. Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, what did we do?
My God, what the hell were we thinking? Why did we give him a freaking thing? So we decided to give fly. Now, when a wrestler dies and there's some controversy pertaining to them, WWE tends to shy away from the controversial deaths.
But sometimes it's just they decided that this person isn't worthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is totally bullshit.
Yeah. So when WWE doesn't give flowers, the All Effing Wrestling Show does. We are going to give flowers to those that deserved it, but were not given the proper respect by WWE. So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can decide who goes first. Roll the dice.
All right. I'm going to roll the dice. You go first. Dino Bravo.
Dino Bravo. So he died. And he was involved in some shady stuff with the mob.
Yeah.
And he was watching a hockey game, and they pretty much snuck in his house and shot him in the head.
Yeah, not just once, 14 times.
Yeah.
14.
And he was there pretty much from like 86, like wrestled from 86 to like 90.
Yeah.
He was there for quite a while.
He was there for a really, really long time.
Yeah, like so he was the owner of a wrestling promotion in Quebec.
Yeah.
And so pretty much Vince bought his territory, and then he's like, well, he was a bit of a holdout.
Yeah.
And then he decided to come in and wrestle for Vince, but he never really. He got a match with Hogan or whatever once or twice.
Yeah.
But he was never really considered a main event guy.
No, not even close.
He didn't even win like mid-card titles.
No. I mean, there was no one as strong or as athletic as Dino. Now, I mean, was he safe in the ring? All you need to do is watch Wrestling in the Shadows and how he injured Bret Hart, tossing him on his chest into the guardrail and then continuously stomping on his chest while it's already broken. So, but I mean, he was one of the strongest guys in wrestling back in that day, in that golden age. Like,
His hair was awful. Like,
Oh,
why do you
his-
have blonde hair? You're named Dino Bravo, and you get the blonde hair.
oh God, it was so horrible. It was so horrible. No respecting Italian should ever have blonde hair. Period. Just saying.
I guess, yeah, he was like from the same area as Luongo, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like the Italian neighborhood in Quebec.
Yeah. I mean, 14 times. And everybody knew he was involved with the mafia. I mean, everybody knew. And so when he passed away, WWE didn't mention anything about him because the guy got shot 14 times in the head.
But still, like, someone who wrestled that you knew just died.
Yeah.
Like, how hard is it to just put up a graphic and say rest in peace or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This guy wrestled for you. He was with you for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go to our number 11. We're going to be talking about Ludwig Borga. To be honest, I know very little about Homeboy, but I do remember he was a heel in WWF from 93 through 94. He did beat Marty Jannetty at SummerSlam. He ended Tatanka's 2-year undefeated run before he got an ankle injury that ended his WWE career. He wrestled in the Indies for a few years before becoming part of Finland's parliament, where he created even more controversy, if that's even possible. In 2010, he shot himself. WWE never mentioned his name or his passing. This guy was huge in Finland. He was part of the parliament. He got elected. The first day after he got elected, he accused the president of being a lesbian. The president of Finland was a lesbian. The guy had Struffhausen logo tattooed on his calf. For those who don't know, the Struffhausen were a special secret police of the Nazi Germany, of the Nazi party. So, yeah, this guy was not a good guy. This guy was kind of a piece of garbage.
Maybe we shouldn't have put him on.
We shouldn't have put him on here.
But he was a great heel.
Oh, he was.
In the new generation.
Yep.
Like, I remember him just like, I remember thinking how good of a heel he was.
Yeah. He was the anti-American heel that permeated wrestling through almost a century, where, you get some guy from Germany or a guy from Japan and he's the foreign heel and, oh, I hate America.
But I still think they should have. It's just classy. Anyone who worked for your organization, they died.
Yeah. Give him some flowers at least. Say, hey, outside of being a Nazi piece of crap and, calling everybody in Parliament and the president a lesbian, you could have easily have just said, he was a wrestler. He wrestled here.
So we're giving him dandelions instead of flowers.
All right, let's go to our number 10. We're going to talk about Jack Tunney.
Jack Tunney. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Like, watching wrestling with Jack Tunney.
Yeah.
As the figurehead.
Yep.
Of WWF at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, you would even hear things like, wait until Jack Tunney finds out about this.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man. Like he was there for like 10 years as the president of WWE. And he had a falling out with Vince McMahon and some of the top guys.
Yep.
So he was released and he died of a heart attack in 2004, and not one person from WWE came to his funeral.
Bullshit.
How that's freaking low.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing with Jack Tunney that a lot of people don't realize was he was one of the largest promoters in Canada, and him and his uncle Frank Tunney ran Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, and they bought a whole bunch of smaller indies, and they were pretty huge in Canada.
So they were the Toronto side of Stampede Wrestling.
Yeah. So, and then When Frank died, when his uncle Frank died, Jack got into bed because at the time when Frank was running the promotion, guys from the NWA and top guys from NWA and top guys from WWE would come up north and wrestle. So Tunney didn't like Jim Crockett at all. He hated Jim Crockett. So when Frank died and Jack took over, he went exclusively with WWE, and then Vince bought him out because he wanted to get into Canada. And so he what Vince first did was he only sent jobbers to go wrestle in Toronto, and then he went ahead and bought him out and made him the legitimate title vice president of Canadian touring. And yeah, I mean, I remember distinctly like the signing of Andre the Giant, the contract signing between Andre and Hulk, and who's front and center was Jack Tunney. And for years, I thought Jack Tunney legitimately was the president of WWE.
So this is also the story you say of the territory days.
Yeah.
Of him having the Toronto area and other parts of the East is that they later kept calling it Maple Leaf Wrestling.
Yeah.
Whenever they did it.
Yeah.
In Canada.
Yeah. He was and the fact that Vince McMahon was so petty and not recognizing, not respecting him at all. Mr. Isaac says no respect for the kayfabe president is bullshit. Like, how can you sit there, a guy who dedicated a majority of his life to pro wrestling, and
to your company.
And to your company, and you're just like, screw it. We're not going to mention them at all. Just because they had a falling out, which most likely was Tunney calling him on his shit.
To me, like, if I had a falling out with a friend and they died,
yeah,
I would be heartbroken because I didn't take that time to mend those fences.
Yeah.
And I would do everything I can to, like, I'd put a big Facebook post of, like, remembering them and
yeah,
honor them however I could because I didn't fix things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's me being a normal dude.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not a psychopath at the head of a major company.
Not a psychopath at the end of the company. You ain't kidding. All right, so we got Jack Tunney out of the way. Let's go to number 9. We're going to be talking about Chris Kanyon. Who's better than Kanyon? Nobody. Nobody's better than Chris Kanyon.
So Chris Kanyon, so he was the innovator of offense in WCW.
Yeah.
And he was, what was his original name? He had the Undertaker gimmick, sort of.
Mortis.
Mortis, right?
Yeah.
When he finally took that mask off and he was just allowed to be himself.
Yeah.
Just having fun. Like, I enjoyed Kanyon so much in WCW. I remember his he was going against DDP and he would like be giving diamond cutters to people in the park.
Yeah.
Remember that episode?
Yep.
Like,
I do remember that. Yep.
I was like, what the heck is this? Yeah, Kanyon was something special to me. And it's such a shame how he was treated in WWE.
Oh, yeah.
There was that part where he was meant to sing to The Undertaker, "Do you really want to hurt me?"
Yeah.
And "Do you really want to make me cry?" And then he just beat the living hell out of him.
Yep.
With the steel chair.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the Jersey Triad with him, DDP, and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Yeah, that was a great freaking, right there was a great freaking trios.
He didn't really have a staying power, but it was cool.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a guy who could take chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad. Like, he was that good of a wrestler. He was light years beyond his years. I mean, nobody was doing what he was doing.
And then we get the Howard Stern call.
Yeah, from Ric Flair.
Yeah, and definitely had to be put up to it by Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
and he's telling me you don't have it. You're a horrible wrestler. One of the just pure bullshit from Flair.
Yeah. And I mean, he was dealing with his own demons too. I mean, he was bipolar. So that was, that's rough, but he was also gay, which, in a predominantly hetero entertainment sphere like pro wrestling is, because it's not just the guys that you're wrestling with that are mostly hetero. Most of the people in the stands are beer guzzling, pickup truck driving, heterosexual males, white males that are threatened by homosexuality.
The Young Bucks were really influenced by Chris Canyon.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they talked to him,
mentored them, and helped them become what they are today.
Yeah, and he called. I mean, they talked to him hours before he killed himself.
Yeah,
and I mean that's the thing. I mean, he overdosed on hydrocodone,
but it was clearly a suicide.
Yeah, it was very much a suicide. And when he passed away, not a hear or a mention of Chris Canyon by the WWE. They washed their hands completely of him. So, yeah, Vince, you make me sick. Let's go to our number 8. Talking about Crash Holly, damn it. In and during the heyday of the Attitude Era, everyone's character was over the top, but none was more over the top than that of Crash Holly. Living in the WWE hardcore atmosphere, he won the hardcore belt 22 times before he was cut by the WWE. In 2003, Crash Holly was found dead in Stevie Richards' home. Died by choking on his own vomit with empty pill bottles and liquor bottles around him. His death was ruled a homicide. I really enjoyed Crash Holly.
Ruled a homicide?
No, they ruled it a suicide.
Oh, you said homicide.
Oh, I'm sorry, suicide. I really liked Crash Holly. I was not big into I wasn't big into WWE's hardcore because them and WCW were trying to capture what ECW was doing organically, which was having legitimate hardcore matches.
I kind of liked the Norman Smiley gimmick in WCW with the accidentally winning his matches.
Yes, that was very humorous. That was really good. But Crash, I mean, he was always second. He was third banana to hardcore and Molly Holly. So I mean, it sucked. What are your fond memories of Crash?
Well, a lot of these things here, JFB, is when they're released from the company.
Yeah.
Like the hardcore thing was gone. So WWE didn't really have a use for them anymore.
Yeah. So
they released them. And when you're all of a sudden you're gone from that high of being in this huge spotlight.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a crash.
Yeah.
And so no pun intended.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a crash, and like they try to survive however they can, and sometimes it causes their death.
Yeah. I mean, you get to that point where you get, when you lose your mode of paying for things and earning a living, you get depressed. And when you do stupid things when you're depressed. So, I mean, it really sucked that, we lost him. He wasn't a superstar, but he knew his role.
He was very entertaining, though.
Yes, he was.
Like those things were entertaining.
Like I remember
he was funny
when he would just walk down the aisle, walk down the ramp like that. Like he had that. I'm gonna beat the hell out of you today. I loved it. He reminded me a lot of Mikey Whipwreck.
Yeah.
Just the putting the balls to the wall and pedal to the metal, so to speak. So let's go to our number 7. Let's talk about Big Daddy V. Let's talk about Viscera.
Yeah, Viscera. He was the very first big king.
Yeah, King Mabel.
King Mabel. And they booked him as a monster king.
Yeah.
And they found out it didn't really work.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like dead in the water. So he had a couple different runs. He came back with the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah. This is Viscera.
as he became Viscera. Later became Big Daddy V.
Yeah, the largest lover in
Yes.
the world.
And unfortunately, he just died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
And there was an outcry from the fans for WWE to acknowledge him.
Yeah.
And they did a week later because of the outcry.
Yeah.
So not because they wanted to honor him or anything like this.
Yeah. And I'm sure WWE being sued by the family did not help matters any. They sued him saying that WWE was very well aware of concussions and CTE at the time that Viscera was taking headshots, and that could have contributed to his death. So the family sued and won. It really sucks. I like Men on a Mission. Mo and Mabel was really fun, but like that was during that era where it was,
Oscar, don't forget about Oscar.
what's that?
Don't forget about Oscar.
Oh, can't forget about Oscar. No.
Mo, Oscar, and Mabel. That's his mom.
Yep. That spells mom. It was just fun to watch them. And then of course, when they got more serious, he got released, comes back as Viscera, and then he got released again, came back as Big Daddy V. He did indie tours for a while. So like
He actually created the King of the Ring belt on the indie tours.
yeah.
I thought that thing looked really cool.
Yeah. That was really cool. That was pretty awesome. So let's go to our number 6. We're going to talk about let's talk about Lance Cade. Not a flattering picture, but it's good enough. Like Borger earlier, I didn't know a tremendous amount about Cade. Now, while being trained by Shawn Michaels, Cade signed a developmental contract with WWE, and in 2003, he made his debut. His biggest run was with Trevor Murdoch as a tag team, and they won the belts 3 times. In 2010, Cade died of heart failure created by a drug overdose causing cardiomyopathy. So, let's give him some flowers for Lance Cade.
So he had some problems with pills, and that's why he was released.
Mm-hmm.
Some addiction issues.
Yeah.
So I don't know if every superstar is offered to go to rehab.
Nope.
Like, not everyone is offered that.
Yeah.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
It's like you're the clean up or clear out kind of thing.
Yeah.
He was in that last big thing was teaming with Jericho.
Yeah. Against Shawn Michaels. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that Shawn Michaels thing. It's like,
yeah,
your own student loves me better.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Yep.
But he had a good look. He was
Yeah.
a good wrestler. And he deserved better.
Yeah. He deserved way better. And
he wasn't even that far removed. He was young.
Yeah.
How old was he? We got just trying to look at my notes.
well, he died in 2010, so
yeah, it was like he was
30,
like I think he was only 32.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really young. He was really young when he passed away. So, and again, it comes down to another guy who gets released, isn't making the money that he was making in WWE on the indie circuit, and
No, but his dream is destroyed.
yeah, oh yeah,
Like, I thought I was going to be a big star. I fucked up,
yeah,
and now what?
yeah. What am I going to do now? So, let's go to our number 5. Who remembers Hercules Hernandez? I do. I remember Hercules. Him and Paul Roma, Power and Glory.
But that wasn't even the biggest deal with him, though. That
No.
was like, I was on the way out.
Yeah, that was on this back end of his career.
I loved Hercules Hernandez.
Yeah.
Like that chain,
Mm-hmm.
just walking. Like, he was buff.
Yeah.
Like, he was a mainstay in the Heenan family.
Yeah.
Hercules Hernandez was in so many Saturday Night main events. He was in so many WrestleManias.
Yeah.
And
He won the Royal Rumble in '87.
yeah, and the weird thing is, after his career was over with WWE, he was never mentioned again.
Never. Yeah.
Just like, what went on there? That was he just not a likable guy? But he was with your company for so long.
Yeah. I mean, he died of
Probably a good 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, he died of congestive heart failure, and people in his family believe that a lot of it had to do with the steroids that he was taking. That led to his congestive heart failure.
Could it be the lack of mention of him is because of the steroid trial and all that stuff that's related to it?
Very much so. Very much so.
If we don't mention him, then we're not going to bring up the fatality of why he died.
Yep, exactly. Let's go to number 4. This one's a big one for me because I was a huge fan of him, and that is Test, Andrew Martin, ladies and gentlemen. Is there a more tragic story than Test? Joining the WWE in 98, Test passed the airport test with flying colors. He had the look and got progressively better every time he was in the ring. He saw success very quickly and was in central storylines through most of his tenure in WWE. He won the European, the Intercontinental, and the Hardcore Championship. In 2009, he was found dead in his apartment, overdosing on oxycodone. A year after he went to rehab that WWE sent him to by his request. So we lost Test like 33, 34 years old. So what do you remember most about Test?
Test, wasn't he a bodyguard for like Motley Crue?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy was able to seize these opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's just about the look, and he had the look.
Yeah.
He was able to seize the opportunity. He had the look, he had the size.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some politics that were going on backstage that kept him at mid-card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he could have easily been the next Kevin Nash.
Oh, yeah. In a heartbeat. He could have been WWE's answer to Kevin Nash in WCW.
But I feel there were some things going on backstage.
Yeah.
That kept him from that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he got involved with the storyline where he was going to marry Stephanie McMahon.
Well, they were really dating, weren't they?
I don't know if they were really dating or not. I'm not sure. Maybe they were, and it's just
kind of over to Triple H.
He slides in with Trips, and Trips is now the president of WWE. So
that's a good what if. What if the marriage between Stephanie and
man,
he wouldn't be dead. He'd be the running the company.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our number 3. We're going to talk about Sean O'Haire. Oh my God, that hair is crazy. Talk about Sean O'Haire.
Yeah, Sean O'Haire was one half of the Natural Born Thrillers in WCW. And they really were going to skyrocket this guy to the top. Unfortunately, when Vince bought the company, when he brought Sean O'Haire over, he didn't really like the team.
Yeah.
And he thought that Sean O'Haire needed some more seasoning.
Yep.
So he got thrown back to developmental.
Yep.
And 2 years later, he comes back to SmackDown and is paired with Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
As the Devil's Advocate.
Yep.
I thought this was a really, really cool gimmick.
So did I. I really liked that gimmick.
But it kind of just petered out.
Yeah.
And a year later, he was released.
Yep.
And how did he die?
So O'Haire was
suicide.
Suicide.
So
he was
like
found hanging
one of
from a bedpost.
Absolutely, I believe. Like, he thought this was going to be his life for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's another thing. It's like you're up so high and then you got nowhere to go but down.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, he battled depression. He battled substance abuse as well. And that's, I think, what contributed to him.
That was 2014 he committed suicide.
Yeah. 2014. So
And
not too long ago.
nothing from WWE.
Not a word at all, because he committed suicide, and that's a no for WWE. I mean, I think you'll find that the one thing that's ongoing here is that if you're going to kill yourself, WWE is not going to talk about you because it's too controversial. You know, they don't want to shine the light that these guys probably have massive CTE issues. You know, you're drinking and doing drugs all the time because you need to stay up. You know,
Well, that was the one thing that was said about Test, that he had CTE issues that caused a lot of the issues with him overdosing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go to our number 2. Man, oh man, we are plowing through these. Piper, Mr. Eisen says Piper going on Real Sports derailed him. And then Joseph Graham says, especially after Benoit. So
Piper going on Real Sports?
yeah, on HBO.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll
Tell
send
us
you
a
the
bit
link.
about that.
Oh, it's been a while since I've watched it, but
Okay.
I mean, he kind of just talked about, you know, he doesn't think he's going to live much longer. He talks about the rigors of being a professional wrestler, you know, being on the road, the constant drugs, the alcohol, the stuff to stay awake, stuff to sleep, you know, because you're jacked up after, you're jacked up after Monday Night Raw. How are you going to come down? You pop into Samba and then boom, you're out like a light for 12 hours, you know, and then you wake up, you work out, you know, you take drugs to get all jacked up again. Then you take a Samba and go back to sleep. And like, that's, you know, like sports guys do it all the time. I mean, there are times I've popped a lot of pills just so I could play soccer. So
Popping pills to play soccer.
popping pills to play soccer when you're hurt.
That's
when
a
you're
shirt.
hurt, that's a shirt. That's going on a shirt. JFB popping pills.
Yeah, like there's another reason why you don't have like 7 days a week wrestling.
Yeah.
Like going on tour for 7 days.
Yeah.
And then just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
It's because no one's meant to live a lifestyle like that.
Yeah. Oh no, not even close. I mean, no amount of W is gonna keep you that energized. That's for damn sure. You're gonna need that extra sugar to plow through. That's why you start jamming down Red Bulls and swallowing OxyContin like it's going out of style. Yeah. So let's go on to number 2, and we're gonna talk about Doink the Clown, but specifically we're gonna talk about Matt Osborne. For those who got to read, who got to watch The Dark Side of the Ring, Canada Dry, talk about Doink the Clown.
Matt Osborne, little people know, he was in WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
He wrestled a great match against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Amazing match.
Yeah. And so when the Doink the Clown gimmick came to Vince's brain, he said, I know the perfect person. It's Matt Osborne.
Yeah.
And he did a great job as Doink the Clown.
Oh, yeah.
Problem is he was a bit off the rails with his drug use.
Oh, yeah.
And he got fired with the last draw when he got fired for smoking drugs in the hotel lobby.
Just lighting up a J, baby.
Before he died, he got to do one last run as Doink the Clown in WWE on the special 2007 callback episode.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, Matt Osborne he's like Canyon and the Dynamite Kid. He was years beyond his peers. I mean, I don't think there was a legitimate tougher wrestler in that time than Matt Osborne, because that guy was crazy. You know, having to wrestle in championship wrestling from Florida, especially Mid-Atlantic, where it's just violent. Like, you might as well every match should have been a cage match where you're just allowed to beat the living hell out of your opponent, because that's essentially what Matt Osborne did. He passed in 2013, drug overdose of morphine and hydrocodone. but he carried on that Doink persona all through the indies too. Even after WWE threatened to sue him, he still did some variation of Doink the Clown. But
I like the ECW version, the Born Again.
yeah, that was trippy. I remember that vividly. Watching Matt Osborne as Doink the Clown Born Again. It was tough. But let's go to our number one. Because out of all the people that should have been at least paid respects to, it should have been this guy, and that's Umaga. Oh, I love that name.
It's like saying the name.
It's like saying the name. One has a lot to live up to when it comes from a renowned wrestling family like the Anoa'i family. Umaga was a force in the ring. After debuting as Jamal, he joined his cousin Rosie to create 3 Minute Warning. After his initial release, he returned in 06 as Umaga and was the monster heel through his second tenure. He'd be a 2-time Intercontinental Champion before being released in 09. Later that year, he had 2 massive heart attacks and passed away. His toxicology report showed hydrocodone, muscle relaxers, and Valium. Let's talk about Umaga, damn it.
Yeah, the weird thing about this one is that Vince McMahon said he was really upset and broken up over this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're upset and broken up over this, but sorry, pal, can't show an image of you on the screen.
Yeah.
Got to bullshit. So how broken up are you if you can't?
Yeah.
Like really?
Yeah. It's bullcrap. I mean,
sorry, them the rules, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, he was always in a main event somehow. I mean, I remember him versus Bobby Lashley for the Billionaires versus the Billionaire with him and Donald Trump. And I mean, Umaga was just such a freaking monster. And I think if they really worked on it, he could have been their top heel.
They didn't. It was weird that he was up here.
Yeah.
And then he just slowly dropped off and then fired.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even let him drop very far.
No. As soon as the shine was off, they kicked him to the curb. And coming from I mean, that's the thing. He was trained by Rosie, his brother Matt, or his cousin Matt. He was trained by Rosie, and comes from one of the great wrestling families of all time, the Anoa'i family. And the fact that they couldn't even just say, hey, he passed, or even just put up a graphic for a quick 10 seconds. They couldn't do that. They
don't even say a word about it. Put the graphic up.
Yeah. Do what you did with draws. Put it up there for 10 seconds. Have everybody go, oh, that really sucks. And then move on with the show.
Yeah, they didn't talk about him, did they?
Nope. They didn't talk about him at all.
Put it up, man. Jeez.
Yeah. That's all you have to do. Just give him some flowers, man.
Yeah.
Give him some flowers.
I think they're learning more for this, though. I think they're better at it now.
They're getting there. Yeah.
But even with Brody Lee.
Yeah.
They only did it because
AEW did it.
Yeah, they're like, well, we better say something, especially because how much our superstars are upset.
Yeah. Do we have an honorable mention? Who's our honorable mention?
I want to honorable mention Dynamite Kid.
Yeah.
And Adrian Adonis.
Yeah. There's Adrian right there. Keith Frank.
Yeah, Adrian, they were a week late on his. But when he died, they didn't give him a phone call.
Yeah.
No one came to the funeral like that was official part of WWE. Like we have the funeral card, a picture of the funeral card, and we can see that Brett was a pallbearer and Piper spoke and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But no one from WWE was reaching out to them.
Nope. No Hogan, no Vince, nada. None of those guys.
And Dynamite Kid, it's one of those things where we don't want to mention because we're the ones who caused those injuries to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this lifestyle that he lived as a wrestler, we're part of that. And so we don't want to show like this is what happens to people
Yeah.
in their wrestling careers.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Billingson or Dynamite Kid, he had a horrible drug problem. I mean, horrible. Like he made British Bulldog look meek and mild with his drug problem, because the guy was such an innovator. Like he
Like this was
he's
self
doing-
medication, right?
yeah, but he did stuff in the 80s that they're beginning to start doing now in 2023. Like you see Sammy Guevara, or you see Chris Jericho, or you see Darby Allin. Like you see these guys and committing to putting their bodies on the line. Dynamite Kid was doing that in the 80s. And he was innovating big time. And as big as he was in the States and Europe, he was huge in Japan. He was bigger in Japan than he was in his own home country. So, well, that's our show, guys. I think it would be remiss for us to not do a 10-bell salute for these guys. So here's our 10-bell salute to all these guys who put their bodies on the line that WWE flat out refused to acknowledge. Here you go. All right.
We say, may God give you a rematch in heaven.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, my friends. So what do we have on tap for this week, Canada Dry?
Of course, we got on Wednesday, we got Dynamite After Dark.
Yep.
We have on Friday, we got something fun. We have a serial killer supercard.
Okay.
So we're going to match up serial killers with each other and see who would win.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have on Saturday, we have the magic of wrestling. And then, of course, later in the night, we got Collision After Dark.
Yep.
And then we come back to the All Effing Wrestling show on Sunday.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, if you want to find a way to get a hold of us, there's two ways you can go about doing it. You can go to effingwrestling.com and you can go scroll all the way down. You'll see all our social media links. But in all honesty, the easiest way to do it is by going to youtube.com/effingwrestling right below us in the description. It's our social media links right there. All you do is click. You can join AFW. You can be part of the All Effing Wrestling community. You can post, you can discuss, you can argue, you can say, I like this guy better than that guy, and then state your case. Like, that's what we're all about. We're all about inclusivity, and we're all about everybody having a voice. And as long as you're not threatening to kill someone, it'll be okay.
That's
yeah, it'll be okay. It'll be all right. As long as you're not going to threaten to kill someone,
right.
it'll be all right. Be all right. The other way to support us is you can donate money by joining one of the tiers on YouTube. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 bucks gets you in. You could be a jobber. You can be all the way down to world heavyweight champion. But the money goes directly to Effing Wrestling so we can get bigger stars on the show and get guys like Brian Cage or get guys like Buff Bagwell. I mean, those guys cost money. They cost quite a bit. And in order for us to entertain you guys, we need a little help. But you're like, well, okay, I'm going to do $10 a month, but I want to spread the word. How do you spread the word? Well, it's really easy. You can wear our logo, the All Effing Wrestling shirt. Now, I mean, as beautiful as it looks on me and Canada Dry, doesn't look nearly as good as it does on Natalia Markova. Hot damn. That is Natalia Markova, and she is also wearing our middle finger shirt. We got a lot of shirts. Some people have accused us of being a t-shirt company that does a podcast occasionally. Those people, I say you're drunk. But
You're drunk.
yeah, ProWrestlingTees.com/effing wrestling. Now, if you're in old school wrestling, and this Tuesday, you're going to see this shirt on the dark side of the ring. That's right, the adorable Adrian Adonis shirt. We run his store. It's ProWrestlingTees.com/Adrian Adonis, where you can
And
get
And right after
Yeah.
that show on
Yep.
on Tuesday,
Yep.
we're gonna do an after show talking about that episode.
Yeah, because it's going to be an episode that's going to be hard to watch because we're both huge Adrian Adonis fans. You know, we're close with the family, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously they're not going to say, "Hey, he was a really nice guy," and blah blah this, and sunshine and rainbows came out of his rear end every day. We know that's not going to be the case, but you know, we're going to get frank and honest about talking about Adrian Adonis. So
Okay, so before we close up shop,
yeah,
I challenge you.
okay,
I challenge you
okay.
for the Rock Paper Scissors Championship of the World. This
Okay.
is best out of 3, right?
Best out of 3? Okay. You ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh, tie.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, one for me.
Damn.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, one for
one
you.
for me.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh,
Ooh, tie.
rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah.
Oh, Canada Dry's the winner.
And remember to just keep fighting.
Woo, that was a tough match. I'm coming for a rematch Wednesday.
Next week. Next week.
Next week, damn it. I'm coming for my belt.
This has been an effing worldwide media production. You can find us on all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and others. Head over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/effing wrestling. And while you're there, click like and subscribe. Want some swag? Head to our store at prowrestlingtees.com/effing wrestling. You can find all these links and much more at our awesome website, effingwrestling.com. As the JFB always says, you can book it.